walking man riddle. Listen. Bing, bong, bell. It's 10 and only one can tell. The master of the metropolis fits his name quite well. Think of the walking man. I'll give you the riddle again in a few minutes. Now, if you think you know the person whose actual walk you hear each week on Through the Consequences, whose walk you probably have seen at some time, follow the rules I now am going to give you and make yourself eligible for the giant jackpot of prizes and get in it. It can't last too much longer. Everybody get in it this week. If the walking man is not identified next week, Truth or Consequences will add 3 more fabulous prizes, and the next week we'll bring a new contest. In our walking man contest, Truth or Consequences is supporting a great cause, a fight to help lick America's #1 killer, heart disease. Not only a threat to our adult population, but childhood's greatest enemy. Heart disease kills more children and adults than the other 5 leading causes of death combined. The objectives of the American Heart Association are to sponsor research on the causes of heart disease, to try to cut down the horrible toll of 1 death every minute in the United States from heart disease, to train more personnel to combat this deadly killer, and to develop a sound public health program. Now, this contest will be your opportunity to support the American Heart Association. Be generous, give from the heart for all heart victims. Now, here are the rules. Finish this sentence, get the sentence, in 25 additional words or less. We should all support the American Heart Association because... Enclose a contribution, if you please, for the American Heart Association. Eligibility for participation in the contest is not contingent upon your contribution. Mail to the Walking Man, Hollywood, California, not to the Truth or Consequences office. The address, the Walking Man, Hollywood, California. And make sure your name, address, and tell us the paper on which the entry is written. Do not include the name of the person you believe to be the Walking Man in your entry.
That's great. You can't miss that clue. Thanks, Walking Man. I'll bet you'll be guessed now. You can't tell. Come up to the microphone and tell us your name, please.
Elsie.
Elsie. Elsie what?
Nelson.
Hello, Mrs. Nelson?
Mrs. Nelson.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you at our Truth or Consequences microphone. How are you this evening?
All right, thank you.
Good. And what is your occupation?
I'm a housewife.
Good. Mrs. Nelson, I have a question. Miss will have a little consequence, okay?
It's all right.
All right. You live here, all the families in Los Angeles?
I am a widow, and I live here.
Uh-huh. All right. Frank A. Dinello of Elmwood Park, Illinois, wants to know, what do these men have in common? Edgar Allan Poe, James M. Whistler, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Truth or Consequences. Didn't you say you were a school teacher, too, at one time in the audience?
Yes, I think so. Well, these are all men.
Yeah. That certainly, believe me, that is the one thing that you can say about it. The major thing is, aside from that, they all went to West Point. And that's what we are working for. Now, do you want to pay the consequences?
It isn't a matter of choice.
No, it isn't really. So, stand by. All right, Mrs. Nelson, can you possibly guess what your consequence is? Huh? All we want you to do, come here, I want to tell you. All we want you to do right in here is to walk across the hall here at NBC where Frank Sinatra is talking to his audience in the 3 minutes he and the Lucky Strike Orchestra have before going on with the hit parade, right after we go on. And we want you to walk out on the stage before that big audience, and in front of that big orchestra, walk right up to Frank Sinatra, yell at the top of your voice, "Frankie, Frankie, my Frankie boy," and then throw your arms around him and kiss him.